Hello, hello. Welcome to podcast number 4, Dancing with Life, a podcast for joy. My name is Jessica Avidable, and I am a joy coach and speaker. I am also a NIA Black Belt teacher, and I am up to playfully dancing through life, joyous, free, and intimate for many, many years to come. I have been breaking down my process in these first couple of episodes. And today I want to talk about how you can start small with just, a quick mindset shift. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard the proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is right now. So, wherever you are, no matter the state you're in, if you look at that Wheel of Life tool that we talked about in episode 3, and you look at the areas of your life and you're like, oh, this is a 3 out of 10, this is a 4 out of 10, this is a 2 out of 10, oh, this one's a 6 out of 10, and you rate yourself from 1 to 10 on how fulfilled and satisfied you are in each area of life. And you realize there's a bunch of areas that are not at your ideal. Consider the tree. Yes, it would have been nice to keep up a regimen, right? It would have been nice to keep a gym membership. It would have been nice to keep up playing tennis, through college and, starting career and all that. But guess what? You didn't do it. You didn't. Whatever you did and whatever you didn't do, you cannot change anything you did or didn't do before right now. So take a big deep breath. You can put your feet on the floor and inhale. And bring your palms together and bring them down your chakra line to your heart center. And I want you to forgive yourself if you didn't start that retirement fund, if your waistline got out of control, if you lost your 6-pack, whatever it is that you might be lamenting over, you have got to stop right now. And this is the value, one of the values of working with a coach, because I can tell you there is no cheese down that tunnel. And you can stop right now making yourself wrong. Oh, I could have done this. I should have done that. I would have done this if this hadn't happened. Give it up. Stop right now, because that is a completely powerless place to be. And you don't want to be powerless. If you want to live your best life right now, you have got to forgive yourself for everything that has happened in the past. You have to forgive and you have to be able to move on. So moving on can look like a quick shift in maybe a habit. So this summer, I have signed my kids up for tennis lessons. And none of my kids have ever played a sport. They have done dance, many dance classes, and they've done ice skating, but they have never done an actual sport where there's, scorekeeping and competition and that kind of thing. So I actually really realized that this would be really fun because I could play tennis with them. They could play tennis with each other. You can play with 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. It's a very, very wide open thing. And you can play for many, many years. People play tennis their whole life sometimes. So I was very excited about this. So this is fun, and this, the area of fun and recreation, if we're looking at our Wheel of Life. So fun and recreation, something my kids can do together, something I can do with them. And so I found the perfect little tennis club, which is where I grew up playing tennis. And I signed them up and I said, you're going to like this. And yes, you're learning something brand new. You've never done it before, but I promise you will like it once you can hit your forehands, hit your backhands, and figure out how the scoring works, which I assume will come much later because they are literally just starting. So in any case, they have started lessons. And in the big group, as you might imagine, they don't get to hit as many balls as, if they were hitting one-on-one or if they were just hitting with each other. So I had this idea and I talked to the club owner about it. And I said, would you think that, they could do a private lesson and just get a bunch of balls and get one-on-one feedback? And she's like, oh yeah, that might work, really well. Because her kids started when they were 2, because they were at the club all the time. But my kids weren't at the club all the time. So at 10, 8, and 4, it's a lot of new things all at once. And so I just signed up for a private lesson, and each girl is going to have 30 minutes one-on-one to just work on the basic form, the basic strokes, and hit a bunch of balls. And I am very, very excited about this because I was getting anxious that they weren't like, oh my God, Mom, that was so much fun. I love it. And I realized, they weren't getting enough balls. So, it's not satisfying if you hit every ball into the net or you shank every ball off the top of your racket or they go onto somebody else's court. It's just not satisfying. But investing in a one-on-one coaching session is going to be awesome. And I will report back to you next podcast. So this story, right, that I've told in detail is about me, my life, my kids in the area of fun and recreation. I bet there was something in my story that resonated with something that you might be going through. Maybe, you do want to start a retirement account. Maybe you don't have enough fun and recreation in your life. Maybe you've never played tennis and you're curious about it, or maybe, pickleball is something that some of your friends do. And if you got a coach and took some lessons, that you could play pickleball with some of your friends, and that would provide satisfaction and fulfillment in the area of fun and recreation for you. So wherever you are, no matter how old you're never too old to accomplish something that you've been wanting to do. Now, obviously, if you're 80 and you're walking with a cane, you're probably not going to pull off a round off back handspring on a balance beam. Okay. I mean, obviously there's some things that would just be too much for the body at a certain time, but in your 40s, in your 50s, you can learn how to play golf. You can learn how to play tennis. You can learn how to sail. There's a lot of different activities in the area of fun and recreation. There's musical instruments, there's singing groups, there's infinite ways, depending on where you live. And now, with so many things being virtual and digital, it is possible to be in a singing group on Zoom. You can take singing lessons. You can take ukulele lessons. You can take guitar lessons. You can take drum lessons, anything you want to do. And remember that your mind needs new material. It needs new stuff, because the mind has all these set points that once, you have a certain amount of satisfaction in life, you're like, oh, well, that's it. But when you get your coach, when you look at your wheel of life and you're like, oh, I want to increase my joy, I want to increase my satisfaction, you have to challenge your brain with something new to do. That's why, people are like Sudoku. I'm like, how many Sudokus can you do before it's really boring? I mean, I find it very boring. My mother thinks it's amazing, when they give her one of the big ones and there's like 3 numbers and she figures this out. And I was like, that doesn't appeal to me. I much rather dissect people than dissect columns and rows of numbers. But that is me, right? That is my personality type, that I like to dissect people to help them remove the blocks that are stopping them from doing what they really want to do. What else can I tell you about, a mindset shift? If you're someone that doesn't like your work, you've got to do something about it. When you like your work, it doesn't feel like work, and you're not living for the weekend. And it is never too late to do other work, either volunteer work or part-time work, or, start as kind of a side hustle and build something up so that you are happy all day. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice to be happy all day, no matter what? And yes, there are moments where the toilet paper runs out, or there's an unexpected traffic jam, or the email doesn't come through, or the fax machine jams if you still have a fax machine at your office. We actually don't have a fax machine at one office, but the scanner jams sometimes. So, the scan to fax or scan to email sometimes doesn't work. It happens, right? And you can lose your mind and be upset about all of that. Or you say, oh, that's a minor setback. I'm going to solve this problem and I'm going to maintain joy and happiness. And then, I'm going to move through my day and I'm going to continue to see people and serve people and serve my community. And I'm going to, pack up and go home, and I'm going to go home to a space that's comfortable. That's another major area that is a lot of people overlook, is the physical space. They live in a house that's too crowded or cramped, or they have, just not the right location. Our last house was just not the right location. And I'm like, how did we end up here? There was no neighborhood. It was up on a hill on a busy road. I mean, there's nowhere to ride bikes. So it was really, really important for us to actually move to a place where my kids could run free and play. And, that might not be something that you need to do. You might not have kids. But that took in, that was something of major importance that we took in, and my kids are pretty darn happy in this house. So this is, a couple of things. Your mindset is plant a tree today. If you forgot, whenever, just, you can start today and plant that tree. You can pick up a new hobby today. You can go on eBay and get a used guitar and hire a teacher online and start today. You can do it that fast. That's how the world is moving these days. And in your mindset, you forgive yourself, whatever you did or didn't do before, and start today. Keep it positive. Be grateful that you are still here and that you have a chance to fulfill that dream for yourself. Because there's no dream that's too stupid. There's nothing that's not worthwhile. If it's on your bucket list, it matters. And I want you to live your best life. And I am available to you. You can check out my website, www.jessicaavitabile.com, AVITABILE.com, and check it out for some coaching. You can get a free consult there and different programs that I'm offering. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dancing with Joy. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.